Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm gonna do another story time type of like life experience video, and I'm gonna be telling you guys about the time that I moved to Dallas, Texas. So stay tuned, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to my channel, and we can get right on into the video. So much sass, huh? So first, I guess I'll give you guys a little bit of background. So I went to Dallas, Texas in, I think it was 2016, and I was doing an internship there. So for my school, the program that I was doing, engineering, we do co-ops every other semester. So you do a semester of school and then you do a co-op, and then you do a semester of school and then you do a co-op. And so I found this co-op, and it was located in Dallas, Texas, and at the time it was actually kind of like a shifting. I feel like God kind of wanted me to go there because actually I was at an internship that was paying me a lot of money, and I had a really like poor experience, which I will be doing a story time on that, but it was a bad experience and I pretty much was not going to be going back to that company. But the trick was, usually, you know, you like to like plan your co-ops or your internships at least like a few months. Like for instance, a semester is what, like 6 months? So maybe like 3 months into the semester, 3 months until your co-op, you've already got your co-op like figured out and situated. Me, on the other hand, in this situation, it was leaving a spring term going into a summer term, and then I had another co-op, and I thought I would be returning to the other co-op or company, but I wasn't. So I needed to find a co-op in about 2.5, 3 months, and that I was completely like, it just kind of threw off the plans that I thought I had for myself. But you know, God always has a plan, y'all. Listen, I was able to find this co-op. I did a little research on my own, and I worked for Owens Corning. We were making shingles, and I was a manufacturing engineer, so it was kind of like process engineering. So finding the co-op was done. It was a matter of like, do I want a co-op in Cleveland? I had an offer in Cleveland and I had an offer in Dallas, and for some reason I was just like, you know, I've always wanted to move out of Ohio, and what better situation to do it than, you know, for 6 months, a 6-month trial period kind of. You know, you still gotta come back home. It's not like a major move and then it's like, hopefully I like it because I'm kind of stuck here. So I really was excited about the opportunity. I remember being like, it was one of those decisions where you're like, YOLO, just do it. And then once you like sit down and say like, okay, what all goes into moving across the country, that's when, you know, reality truly sets in. So that was why I needed to go to Texas. So now I'm gonna talk about actually going there, what the biggest challenges were. The first challenge, I had to find an apartment. So I don't know if you guys have ever tried to look for apartments, but it's like it's a whole task of its own, just finding an apartment. But try finding an apartment from across the country. Like literally, you know, you go and you visit apartments usually, but I was in Ohio looking for apartments in Dallas, Texas. Like I couldn't just go down the street and look at it and be like, oh, this is cute, this is bad, whatever. So there was a lot of phone calls, a lot of research, trying to find, like, you know, you want to scope out the area, you want to scope out the apartment, is it newer, this and that. So that was really stressful, especially since we had a stipend. But so the thing is this, the stipend that we got for relocation is a decent amount. Like I've done co-ops in really small towns where rent is only like $300 a month. So if somebody gives you like $2,000 to, you know, like relocate, and that you can pay that for your rent, I mean, especially if the place is furnished or already has a bed and stuff. But when you're moving to places like Chicago, Dallas, New York, $2,000 is like the month's rent and maybe like me, you know, like dinner or, you know, food for the week. I mean, it's just so expensive. So not only was I looking for apartments, but I was looking for affordable ones, which in Texas, like, I don't know, it was a whole process of, I want an affordable apartment, but I want it to be in a good area of town. So where's the middle ground for that? Where's a good place, but not like $2,000 for a 1-bedroom? Because I was looking for roommates, and I was looking on like, correct, because it was one of those companies where it's like, it's not headquarters, so you're usually sending like one co-op to a plant at a time. So it's not like I had other people I could co-op with, or sorry, that I could room with. So yeah, I was just kind of out here. I was on Craigslist looking for roommates. I was on what else? I was just really putting it out there that I wanted a roommate. It wasn't really coming together, not at least for like 6 months. You know, some people want a roommate for like a year or two, and I was only going to be there for 6 months. So I ended up getting a 1-bedroom apartment. It was like $1,000 a month, but what I was making for working there, I was that was about to sound, I was obviously able to pay it, but I mean, I guess. Yeah, that was a whole task of its own, just finding an apartment, finding an affordable one, because if you're in downtown Dallas, I was in a city called or named Irving, so it was a really nice, actually a very nice, like, populous, is that a word? It was very like busy, and a lot of shops, a lot of places to eat. It was really nice, but it was kind of like a suburb of Dallas. So I wasn't actually in the city of Dallas. If you wanted an apartment in the city of Dallas, especially a 1-bedroom, girl, I'm not kidding you when I say $2,000 to $3,000. So I really liked where I lived. It was really what I wanted. It was exactly what I was looking for. It was very small. I had a kitchen area, a living room, and a bedroom. And it was like probably the size of our bedroom where I live now was the size, well, maybe our bedroom and our bathroom was the size of my whole apartment. So like kitchen, living room, bed. It was so small, but it was just me, and it was for only a short period of time. So I was like, it's fine. The next major thing, so now I have my apartment, luckily. And you know, I'm getting information, I'm getting ready to leave. Physically moving to Dallas, Texas was the next challenge that I was going to face. Oh my goodness. So when you're flying, you can't like bring a lot of stuff. And so you can probably ship your stuff. I mean, like have it shipped. That's kind of expensive depending on how much you're bringing. And then it's like, do you want to move in by yourself? Like, so what we ended up doing, I shipped my car. So like I packed it up with most of the stuff that I wanted to bring, and I shipped it, and then my parents wanted to come, and we made it like a cool little week family vacation kind of thing in Texas, but they wanted to come to help me move in. And you know, they're not going to just send their daughter to a state she's never been in and like go, you know, like have fun, girl, and like go, you know, move in by yourself, do all this stuff. So they came with me. So we rented a van and put the rest of the stuff that wouldn't fit in my car that was being shipped, and then my mom, me, and my dad all drove. Like we stopped in Tennessee overnight, so it was like a 2-day trip. So that was fun. I mean, that was fun, like having like a little trip out of it. So that's how we moved, shipped my car, we drove there, and then, you know, they drove back in the van. And yeah, so we unpacked pretty much my furniture. All I brought was clothes and like, what else? Like, I don't know, just little, really what? I think, well, so since I lived in an apartment before, I had like kitchen stuff, you know, like plates, stuff like that. But as far as furniture, I bought all of my furniture when I got there from Walmart, because, or we like bought it online and then had it, like you had to pick it up from the Walmart there, because like I was already living in an apartment, but it was fully furnished, so I didn't really have furniture to bring. So we just bought like a box spring bed, a comforter, a nightstand, which is like it's like little cubbies and a drawer, and we bought like hangers, you know, stuff like that. What other, oh, and I bought a futon, because the thing that we also had to think was, yes, I need stuff to live now, but once I leave here, I'm not taking this back with me, because first of all, it's not gonna fit in the car. Secondly, like I don't need it because I'm living in a furnished apartment. So we bought furniture there, and then I ended up selling it on, what is it called? It's an app called Let Go. and I just put all of my stuff on there when I started to leave and was like, does anybody want it? And so that's how I ended up getting rid of all of my furniture. So when I went to Texas, I literally didn't know even one person. Like, I didn't know anyone I was gonna be working with. This was a new company. This was my first time interning with them. I didn't know anyone. I didn't know anyone who lived in Dallas. Like, I literally didn't know anyone. And so for some people that's terrifying. Even for me that's a little terrifying, but mostly at that point I was just so excited about the new opportunity, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's kind of, I don't know, I'm always someone who's like, I need to be put outside of my comfort zone or else I'm not growing and I'm not, you know, progressing, like getting to new places in life. So I kind of took it on as a challenge. So how I made friends and got to know people around Dallas, I joined like a young professionals ministry, or I started going to one. So TD Jakes, his church is actually located in Dallas, and so every Friday they had like a young professionals ministry, and so all of these young professionals would come on Friday, predominantly Black, and that would be how I spent my Friday night. You know, it would let out at like 9 or 8, so I didn't, you know, I wasn't like, it was like, okay, well, it wasn't like all night thing, but you know, that's how I met people. So then I started meeting, like I met one of my really good friends. Well, I met 2 girls who I became really cool with, and one of them, we would hang out in the church setting, but then we would also like meet up for dinner. And whenever we would go out for dinner, we would sit at the bar, because I think she had maybe just moved there. Maybe I think she went to school in Austin but moved to Dallas recently, so she didn't know that many people as well. And so when we would go to like a restaurant, we would sit at the bar, because a lot of times, you know, especially in bigger cities, people will go to restaurants by themselves. I went to restaurants by myself, and you sit at the bar because it's just kind of like, I don't know, if you want to get a drink, you can get a drink. You don't have to sit at a whole table. It's just like, it's more chill. So we ended up going to quite a few restaurants where we met people while sitting at the bar and just had like the time of our lives. Just meeting people like at this random restaurant. We all just happened to be here at the same time, just kicking it. So those were 2 ways that I met people. I also started to hang out with people, like there were young professionals who I worked with, and so sometimes we would go to like the Texas State Fair, which was a lot of fun, or we would go to lunch or dinner, and I would hang out with them. One of them I was really close with, and we would go shopping, or we would go to like hot yoga. So just trying to actually like build relationships with people and fostering them. You know, it's more than just like saying hi in the hallway. You have to kind of like actually try to grow a relationship with them. So Dallas actually has a lot of like, it's just such a big city. There's so much going on, like pretty much whatever activity you could think of, I feel like they would have. And there's a lot of opportunities to socialize. There's a lot of opportunities to meet people. So it just depends on like how willing you are to put yourself out there. I will admit that there were times when, you know, especially towards the end, I was just kind of like over it. Like the last month of the 6 months, I was kind of like, I'm just kind of ready to go home. I'm ready to be around my boyfriend, my family, the people I know. Like, it kind of gets draining always feeling like you have to put yourself out there, you know, because especially living by myself, there were times when I would just not even feel like really going anywhere by myself. Like, you know, the people who I met there, yeah, we would hang out and kick it sometimes, but they have lives too. Some of them were married. So they have plans on the weekend, they're traveling, they're doing this and that. So there were times when I would just sit in my apartment for like Friday night, pretty much all of Saturday, you know, just like bored, like watching Parks and Rec, like really not doing anything, just eating, cleaning, like watching TV. It would get kind of lonely, which kind of sounds like depressing, but that was something that I definitely did start to get like over it at the end. Also, something that was really hard was just being 17 hours away from my home. Like what I considered home, where your family is, where your friends are, where your, you know, your belongings, most of your belongings. 17 hours, which was only like a 2-hour flight, an hour and a half, 2-hour flight, but it's like you work Friday till the evening, then you fly out Friday, so then evening, so you get there at like Friday night, so you have all of Saturday, and then you have to leave sometimes Sunday. Sometimes you can't really like determine how late or early you get on a flight, especially if you're like in money constraints. So it just like, it was kind of, you know, I didn't just go home. I didn't just get a $300 to $400 plane ticket to go home whenever I felt like it. It had to be like a justifiable like weekend, like it had to be like a holiday or at least like a 3-4 day weekend. That was kind of that. That was kind of hard. I do feel like if I even had just one friend or even my boyfriend out there with me, it would have been, I had a great time, but it would have been even more fun. But I do feel like the people I was around, they knew that I came all the way from Ohio, and they did try to like, you know, keep me occupied. But you know, I am a person who feeds off of people's energy, so just being in my apartment sometimes was just like, felt like the walls were closing in on me. Okay, so now I'm gonna talk about the culture of Dallas. So overall, Dallas as a city was lit. No, but for real, like I really like Dallas. It has a lot of younger people. It's very diverse. There's a lot of black people. Honestly, I was about to say white people. There weren't even a lot of white people. It was like a lot of black, Indian, Asian, Muslim. That's a religion, but you know, like Middle Eastern, Indian, all of that. It was literally every like ethnicity mixed into one city, and that's what I really loved about it. And the cultures were rich. Like I lived in an apartment complex where it was mainly people from India, and around there were a lot of Indian restaurants, mixed in with obviously other ones too. But yeah, there was a lot of different, you know, cultures, and I really loved that. I loved how there was so much to do. I loved how, you know, like, since it's such a big city, there's like, I mean, like here we get our car washed. There it's like, you can go get your car washed and they clean the inside of it. Like it's a normal transaction. It's not like, I don't know, it was just like you could drive up and be like, yeah, I want to get the full service. Or like how we have Chipotle, they have Chipotle, but they have like places where it's like a salad bar Chipotle. Like you can go and get this whole grandiose salad and be like, I want this, I want this. It was just different. It's like there's just so many more options because it's such a big city. And I really loved that. But I will say, so I was in Texas during the time of the Trump-Hillary election. And you know, in our country, there was so much tension around that. Like there was just, I feel like our country was so divided, and a lot of us were like, okay, we don't really want to be on this side, but that is just a whole other type of thing. And then we would look over and be like, oh girl, like Susie, I thought we was friendly over here. What do you mean you're Team Trump? Like there was just so much tension. And you know, like working at a manufacturing plant, like it's not headquarters. It's a lot more like, there's a lot less people, so you probably know a lot of the people who work there. It's a lot more, I want to say personal. I don't know, like people just talk more candidly, you know? And I was at a factory full of Trump supporters. Which I'm not gonna say like that I went either way. Honestly, it was what it was. It's not that I supported one person over the other. It's just, imagine being in Texas during that time with a bunch of Trump supporters. I just didn't like the hate speech. And furthermore, I didn't like the actions that were coming out of the Trump supporters. You know, there at the time I remember reading stories on the news where it's like, girl gets called the N-word and pushed to the ground by her schoolmates, and it's like, you know, and they said support Trump, you know, just little stuff like that. I'm not gonna say that I'm for either one of, or was for either one of the candidates, but as far as like hate and showing these racist, outwardly racist, hateful actions, I wasn't for that. A college student moving to Texas, working with mainly middle-aged to older men, and they were mainly Trump supporters. Imagine that, girl. So that was like something that I really am thankful for, because I met so many people. Like, I met Hispanics who are voting for Trump. Like, listen, this is not a political channel. This is not a political channel. But if you listen to the news, it's like, you would really think there can't be one Hispanic out there who would listen or be like voting for Trump. And I met guys, there were, and so being at a manufacturing plant and kind of being in a more relaxed environment than like a like headquarter. Like, we would wear our, you know, we're working on a line. Well, people are working on the line, and we would go out on the line. So we'd wear like long sleeve, like jeans, you know, stuff like that. Steel toe boots. So it wasn't necessarily like working at a headquarter where you're like really dressed up, but we were able to have those conversations, and I was able to speak with people who were so like immensely different than me. Like, think of a like middle-aged white man, conservative Trump supporter, and then think of me, like a young black woman millennial. You know what I mean? It's like the perspectives were so different. The lifestyles were so different, but we were able to find common ground, and we were able to like talk, and I was able to see like where they're coming from, and they were able to see where I'm coming from. Like, I personally cherish that experience. So that's really all that I can think of right now to talk about my trip moving to Texas, moving to Dallas. Overall, it was a great experience. I learned so much. I had the time of my life, and it's definitely something I can check off of my bucket list. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like these videos, give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.